The North Fathers here. Um, we have to get down to what's really real about the Tim Norman case. Now, we know that money was taken from Miss Robbie's home. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and say who took it. I wasn't there. I try to do a lot of homework on these cases here, but I definitely want to know more about that part. I mean, it really doesn't justify anything or anyone's innocence. Excuse me, damn. It doesn't just justify. It only justifies what happened to the money that was in this lady's house. Tim Norman allegedly was in California at the time the money was taken. I'm going to try to get to my truth. Now, we also allegedly know, that a lot of money was missing from Miss Robbie since the show was on. Allegedly. It was alleged that Tim was signing checks. They were supposed to sign. He was taking money. They were supposed to be taking. One female came up to Miss Robbie saying that Tim had authorized the check to be cashed, but it had to have Sweetie Pie's name on it. Miss Robbie went into Tim's truck one time when they was arguing over the pots, and she pulled out thousands of dollars, whether it was his, hers, or theirs, or the company's, or whatever. I can't really tell the whole story in that part, but I know it was money taken out. It was alleged that Miss Robbie was suing Tim for $1 million, if I'm not mistaken, because it was money removed from the company. Do I think Tim was stealing? I don't know. But I could say allegedly maybe he may have taken some money that wasn't his, it was his mother's. Did Tim break into the house? Allegedly he was in California. What makes Tim look guilty in my eyes is that he took out the life insurance policies where he was the sole beneficiary. That's kind of spooky there. Like he's assuming something was going to happen to Andre. Andre allegedly was living in a halfway house. His grandmother was paying $120 a month for him to stay there. She had an apartment for him, but the landlord had him evicted because the smell of marijuana was coming out of it. The young man smoked weed. I mean, weed is basically legal now. Weed was never a bad drug. Maybe if you was transporting larger amounts across state lines, you get them state troopers that'll try to nail you for it. You know. But Andre was living in a halfway house, allegedly, at the time the money was taken. And only a few people had the code to Miss Robbie's house, to the alarm, where you could push it and enter without the alarms going off. When the money was stolen, the family members was blaming Andre for taking it. Now, she was living in a gated community. I don't know if she still lived there, but I know at the time that's what it was. So it should be security cameras, yada, yada, yada. Was this young man on any of the cameras? Now, Andre's defense was his uncle, even though he was in California, he had the influence to get somebody else to do his dirty work for him. Hmm. Um, she comes home. She said house is ransacked, mink coats and all this thrown all over the place. Due to the fact that the family started distancing themselves from him, and he probably had a conversation with Tim on the phone as well, he left. He said he was going with a rap group to perform. His family never known him for going with a rap group to perform and get paid for it. But he went to Florida, and he had a girlfriend that he visited out there. Ultimately, he took pictures with large amounts of cash and guns. That led him to being fired from the TV show Sweetie Pies. Oprah not playing that. Oprah said, what? Pull the plug. The young lady said that was her money he took the pictures with. Andre didn't have that kind of money. He had new clothes. The girl said she bought him new clothes. The lie detector test said Andre test results was inconclusive because he had marijuana in his system. This when he came back 9 months later. He had a court case in Texas. He wasn't supposed to have left the state. And when he did leave the state, he came back to St. Louis and he took a test. The test came back inconclusive. So the police told him he'd come back a couple of days later and take it again. Just before he was coming back to take the test, he got killed. Now, I'm going to say this about the inconclusive test. It can mean one or two things. The inconclusive test can mean, and I'm putting a lot on the line by saying this, because nobody else, I don't think, said this. It can mean that due to the fact of the marijuana, the test wasn't done right, which I've heard stories about that. A lot of people have used that angle if they know how to get away with it. Excuse me, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm yawning. Excuse me, y'all. But also, an inconclusive test could mean that he failed. Because it doesn't mean you passed. I never heard of anybody passing an inconclusive test. I've heard due to the fact that the test was inconclusive, he failed. And I'm also not saying that Andre took the money. But what if he did? That's what failed. That's what fueled Tim's fire. I'm gonna get him. I'm gonna get him. If that's what happened, I'm gonna get him. I'm gonna get him. Tim put everything in his heart and soul where he was gonna get him. And that's what happened. Somebody got him. But, all right, say if he took the money, the $200,000. How much money did Tim take? What did Tim do? People always said Tim wasn't good for the business. Miss Robert even sued them for misrepresentation of funds. Those are my words right there. Said saying stole it. Misrepresentation of funds. But that lie detector test, I want to know more about that. But the police not going to release anything until court time, whatever. But I would like to know what happened with that lie detector test, because the police didn't have no other suspects on their list, not even Tim Norman. Andre Montgomery was the only one that they looked at. And I'm going to say this, rest in peace to Andre. Even if he took it, he didn't deserve what he got. Especially in street terms, if he took it, he didn't deserve to be killed by someone who allegedly continued to take it. But that's what money do to you. And that insurance policy was taken out long before any money was taken. Please like and subscribe to my page. It's a lot more to this story. It's a whole lot. That's just not being said. But like Tim R said on that reunion, you live by the gun, you die by the gun. That reunion, it was a lot of statements being made, and people was cutting their eyes off at Tim, like looking at him. And Tim was sitting there looking glum, like you never seen Tim look like that before on TV. Even when he was mad at his baby mother, he ain't looked that glum. I mean, what you want me to say? If Andre took the money, then Tim killed him? The bottom line to this here is, who took the money? That's where the police work get very interested in that. Who took the money? There was only one suspect on that list. Should there have been more? And the most important thing is who killed this young man here. Money or no money being stolen, that young man didn't mean that he didn't deserve to die that way. Sometimes you do stuff to the older people in the family. You get your ass whipped, whatever. Some people got their ass whipped and didn't do it. For the police, all right, they can say if Tim did it or not. But why did he do it? Because he lied on the young man and said he took the money and he didn't? Or because he took the money and that was his revenge / payback? This is stuff, it's time for people to know. It ain't no mind your business, stuff like that. The eyes and ears in this world is too strong for that. People want to know, people want to see what happened, people want to understand what happened, people want to know what happened. People in their own minds are going to find out what happened. But anyway, this is the North Forever. I'll be back. This case will be over soon. There's a lot of ins and outs to it. But shout out to everybody. I love you all. Peace.